Hello, today we'll be installing a Kleinn air horn kit GMTRK1 on a 2015 Chevy Silverado 1500. Prep the tank and horns by installing the elbow, blow-off valve, drain valve, pressure switch, and airline hookup. Then mount the horns to the bracket using the 4 bolts with nuts and lock washers supplied. Connect the solenoids with the air hose to the T that you'll later hook to the tank. You'll also note that there are the solenoid wires that you'll be using for a power and a ground. We also have the compressor, the mounting tray, airline, wire loom in 2 different sizes, as well as the power wire and our switch signal and relay signal, as well as some connectors and some relays and some nuts and bolts from the kit. Mount the tank and compressor bolts to the bracket using the push nuts to keep the bolts in place. Then remove the 4 bolts that hold down the auxiliary battery tray, as well as the hold down bolt for the battery that we will use for a ground. You'll need to make sure that you remove the silicone or any other paint that may be in the area of the bolt so that you can get a good ground. Now that the bolts are removed from the battery tray, you can install the new tank and compressor bracket and use the new 4 bolts from the kit with washers to secure the plate down. Route the airline behind the headlight and on top of the frame before hooking the line to the tank, and then mount the tank using the nuts and lock washers in the kit. Make sure that the blow-off valve goes into the opening in the inner fender well. Use 2 wrenches to secure the tank to the bracket. If you're standing in front of the truck, there is a slight opening between the auxiliary battery tray and the mounting bracket towards the firewall and the engine. You can slide your wrench in there to get a hold of it underneath. Mount the compressor to the bracket using the splice nuts, washers, and lock washers to secure it down. Open the positive battery post cover and the cover for the box next to it. In there you will see several power posts that you can attach the power wire to. Remember to keep the fuse holder within 18 inches of the connection. Route the power wire along the firewall with zip ties, as well as the inner fender well to where you'll mount the relay. Route the red and yellow wires through the firewall using the existing grommet. On the inside of the truck, the hole is just above the junction box to the left of the brake pedal. Connect the fused wire from the battery to pin 30 on the relay. One side of the pressure switch connects to pin 85. The compressor power connects to pin 87. And finally, the ground connects to pin 86. The yellow wire from inside the truck connects to the other side of the pressure switch. Ground the compressor and attach the remote air intake filter. One red wire from each of the horn solenoids to use as a ground wire. Remove the 2 bolts holding the factory air dam in place. Attach the horn bracket with the bolts that are provided in the kit. The horns should be facing the passenger side of the truck. After they're mounted, the horns are tight up against the bumper, right in the center. Once mounted, take the routed red wire from inside the truck and connect it to the red wires from each of the solenoids that you didn't use for the ground. The ground from the other side of the solenoid to a nearby bolt. The air line from the tank to the T. On the inside of the truck, take the red wire from the horns and attach it to one side of the button. The other side of the button will go to a 12-volt constant, which you could use the factory horn fuse to get your power from. Now for the fun part. Turn the key on and listen for your compressor to kick on. If it is, it's starting to fill your tank with air. Once it stops, you're ready to blast off.